Hello, good day and welcome to the program, The Big Agenda. I am Messi Emelite. And on today's segment, I'll be having with me a very distinguished personality. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Messi.
All right, sir. For the sake of our viewers, I want you to kindly introduce yourself by telling us your name and about yourself.
Yes, my name is Adamu Garba.
Okay.
Adamu Garba II, and I am the former APC presidential aspirant in 2019 and also 2023 election. But of course, we know we have a presidential candidate under the same party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whom I support 100%. And also, I am the CEO of IPI Group Limited and the chairman of governing board of Institute of Data Processing Management of Nigeria.
Now, sir, let's talk about your political aspiration and your interests. Though I have two questions for you on that. But when the fee for the purchase of the APC nomination for the office of the president was announced at about 100 million naira, you showed interest and you decided 100 million naira. You decided to run for this race, and I could remember, if I'm not mistaken, that some donations was made for you at about almost close to the 100 million naira. But afterwards, you left the party to YPP. So we would want to know what brought about that.
The problem is, you see, I am not altogether comfortable with financializing political offices. I believe political offices are places where you deliver public goods. And for you to be able to deliver something that is for the good of the commons, you are supposed to go there based on the competency and your capacity to do these things that the commons truly wanted, not the money you have in your pocket. And I don't believe, still I don't believe that 100 million naira should not be pegged as a price for nomination for an elective office, even if it is for the president of the country. So that moment, of course, when the money was too much, I said maybe I'm the only one complaining. Let everybody come and do his own donation. Within my friend cycle, we were able to raise up 23 million naira. Then, looking at everything, I said, this doesn't really make sense for me to throw out 83 million. It's like I'm legitimizing that 100 million naira I'm fighting. So that's why I decided to move to YPP and try to aspire. But I became a stranger there. You see, the ideals of the party is not like my party, APC. And the people, of course, nice people, but I'm not connected. You understand? And where I even opted for YPP then was because of the name Progressives. I'm leaving all Progressive Congress to Young Progressives party. But I now discovered, no, it can't work. But I chose to stay, decided not to proceed with my aspiration, return back all the monies that was donated to me, and decided to stay in YPP, observing what's happening, both from within that party and from within my own previous party, which was APC then. And eventually, APC did something unimaginable. We were expecting an imposition of candidates similar to the way candidates were imposed during the convention. And there we have a primary election, the most freest and fairest primary election ever held in the presidential aspiration of this country, produced Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whom I have been in support of for a very long time. And I said, so in this case, in fact, this party has recovered. Maybe, since I have the suggestions in the way we can fix the party and remove the financialization and bring competency and capacity to overshadow the financialization of the system, then why can't I come back to my party? And again, several senior citizens that I respect so much, please call, come back, let's see what we can do. Stop doing this thing. We know that you don't like that party. You just went there out of anger. I say that's true. And a kind of case whereby sometimes you and your husband may have an issue and you just decided to take a break. So this is the issue. And that's why I decided to come back to my party. Since a proper structure has been established, candidates in persons of Bola Ahmed Tinubu pairing himself with Kashim Shettima, whom I believe are the best ever presented to this country since 1999, I have to come back. And that's why I'm in APC, so that we can deliver this great promise for Nigeria. And I'm not seizing the fact that one day I want to be the president of this country. I still want to be the president, but I want to inherit a very strong, united, viable, prosperous country. So therefore, it is my responsibility to see that the best candidates are presented forward, so that when they win, they can build something that we can build upon. And I chose Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima for that.
Okay, I would want to know, was Senator Ahmed
Yeah.
Bola Tinubu
Yes.
wasn't in the picture when you left the party? He wasn't already...
Yeah, in fact, if you follow through the history of that moment, nobody even suspected that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to emerge as the presidential aspirant of the party, because there were clear indication that there is going to be an imposition of a candidate that we don't want. So it is like the party is becoming more autocratic that moment. But eventually, when it came to the decks of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the man who is, to me, more democratic than even people that have not worn uniform in their lives, decided to allow free and fair contest to take place. And that's what produced Ashwani Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On seeing that, I said, this is great news. APC is back. I'm going there. We will have to go and build what we have started. So that's why I have to come back to my party. And I'm very, very glad that the outcome produces these incredible Nigerians.
Oh, it's good to have you back. I would want to know, you mentioned not finding some things comfortable with the YPP party.
Yeah.
What were those things that made you feel like, oh, you don't really belong here? They are not going to deliver, or...
Yeah, you see, it's like a proverbial case whereby you were born and brought up in a given settings, and suddenly you now find yourself in a strange land where the food is not conducive for you, the air is not conducive for you, where you want to sleep is not conducive for you, the people there don't speak your language, a lot of confusion. And you are seeing that your house where you live, they are saying, come back, we have made all the corrections, come back, let's stay together. And then you decided to stay in a very strange setting. It's like you are doing very serious injury to yourself, especially when what you truly desire is the progress and development of the country. And you know clearly that that party where you left, its ideals is restored. And it has the best presented candidate for the office for which you are fighting for, which is the presidency. And then you decided to stay in a place where you obviously believe that they don't even have anything nearly closer to those persons. Except if you want to follow selfish interests, you stay. But if you truly care for the country, you go for the best. And what is much more fitting than the best that comes from the baby that you helped to nurse, which is the APC. So that's why I have to go back to my destination.
Okay, now looking at the whole scenario, it seems a bit dramatic from at first moving from APC to YPP and then coming back. So why all this were happening? Did you face any form of criticism from maybe friends or oppositions? And
A whole lot. Naturally, especially my demography. Our younger demography are the most accountable demography. They hold somebody accountable for lack of doing the right thing as much as possible, unlike the older demography. If you look at, for instance, presidential candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, PDP, ACN, right? From ACN back to PDP, from PDP back to APC, from APC back to PDP, but the younger demography don't care because their demography, they are okay with that. If you come back to our candidate, Ashwani Bola Ahmed Tinubu, AD to AC, from AC to ACN, from ACN to APC, you understand? So that older demography, don't worry about those party changes, But our demography is very accountable. And if you notice, my movement from YPP to APC and back is just 2 months, or even less. But you have been moving from one party to the other, you are all stable, you are this, you are that. It's good. It's not a bad thing, because they are trying to tell me that you are accountable to us. And we are monitoring and watching, and we don't want to copy instability. You understand? Which is very good. So it means that, okay, so even if the APC is bad, as my senior elder statement said when they were calling me back, we stay, we fix it. So it means that APC is going to be my traditional home for as long as I live and as long as APC still remains APC. So that's what it means. It's because I am within a demography that I hold everything accountable, which is very, very interesting.
So within those period of criticism, how did you manage the pressure?
Personally, I don't take criticisms as negative. I take them as a feedback. So that's why you see sometimes people will be insulting me, they will drag me and trend on Twitter on something very, very, but I'm very okay. When you talk to me, you see me even tweeting and responding to them. In fact, sometimes even jovially. Why? Because it's just a feedback. And if you truly want to be democratic and you do things with your mind, like freely from inside, you don't care what other people say. You just see what they say as a feedback to what you do. So if the feedback is overly negative, it means there are some things you need to correct. If feedback is positive, there are some things you need to correct. If feedback is just chasing cloud, like some people are just catching cruise, then catch cruise alongside them. And then that's it, because what you have said, you said it, and it's fine. So I didn't really hurt me a lot. Rather, it showed me what I'm revealing to you, that our demography is accountable. So we must be very focused and very organized and very determined.
Okay. Now, back to your party, the All Progressive Congress. When you moved out and later come back to the party, of course, your party members, how did they react to it? Do they kind of see you like a spy, or did they welcome you warmly?
They welcome me so much.
Oh, wow.
They know that there is no place I can go, that I can have the comfort that I had in APC. Not really comfort in terms of material, but comfort in terms of socialization. All my friends circle are in APC. All my business circles are in APC. Everybody is my in-laws are APC. You understand? So, and then I decided to pull out. So it is like a child who just went to the motor park to rest, and then they asked him, come back home. So that's the situation. So when I came back, they were very happy, and they knew me in the party. I'm a very strong kind of protector of the interests of the party. I advocated for the progress and the peace and development and growth of the party at all levels, they know. So, and then suddenly, I now left. It's not good for the party that I left. And when I come back, it was very good for the party that I'm back. And that's why they welcome me very well. And that they know that one of their true heroes is back to continue the battle.
All right, okay. We might get back to that. Now let's talk about the P2B's movement.
Yes.
The presidential candidate of the Labour Party.
Yes.
Your party, the All Progressive Congress, is having some sleepless nights over the obedience. Do you think the Labour Party have more chances over your candidate, who is Senator Ahmed Tinubu Asiwaju?
No, you see, the thing is that between Obi and Tinubu, you are just trying to compare lake and an ocean. They're very incomparable, meaning Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as an ocean, while Obi as a lake. But that makes a lot of noise. You understand? Simply because major political activities have not taken shape yet. Most of the giants are still resting. They are coming up. Once political activity start coming up, and you will not see any obedient again online. All of them are going to be overtaken and overshadowed. But because we in APC are law-abiding, and so many other parties are law-abiding, and the obedience are only obedience to some of them to Obi, unlike procedural, they are busy campaigning, which meanwhile the campaign is officially going to be unveiled somewhere around September, by the end of September. So let them fly, let them catch their cruise. And when you look at the total number of people, they are almost the same cycle. They are the same cycle that commented on almost all the social media, And when you look at, we did some deep dive into this fellowship cycle within the online community. Maybe maximum of 24,000 retweets, for instance. And when you look at the total number of flows and you carry them over and over, you see them replicated over and over. And these are the people that makes the massive noise. And in Nigeria, if you put something up to 3,000, comment on something, reach the trend table. So 3,000 conversations reach a trend table, and people think it's a whole country talking about it. You understand? So it's a kind of a euphoria, that will have to naturally exist. And this euphoria is not the first time you have in Nigeria. We had it in 2008 during the Not Too Young to Run Bill. I was at the forefront of this Not Too Young to Run. By that time, we were thinking that all the old people will just go and rest. We, the young people, will overtake them automatically. The whole country caught fire. Not Too Young to Run Bill, Not Too Young to Run Bill. The president gave us the bill. Eventually, when the proper political activities took shape, we all disappeared. So this is exactly the kind of thing I am picturing for Obi. But I have one good thing about it. So many of his supporters used to support IPOB, online. When you attack Nnamdi Kanu or Biafra, you see them, you cause, we need secession, we want to divide this country, we are tired. But now they are saying, we love Nigeria, you are the one that hates Nigeria. That's a great conversion. So it's a momentum that we need to sustain. If they will trust Nigeria, believe in Nigeria, and accept their failure when they fail, continue to support again Nigeria, and also campaign for their candidate, in the next election and the next election. It means we have won the secessionist issue. Instead of violently, we have won it democratically, which is one of the beauties of democracy. So when you look at this, I think that's the only positive I want to take out. But it's a euphoria. It's so uncomparable when you compare him with Ashua. You can't do anything. Can't even. I'm not sure Obi is going to win us in Anambra State.
You're so confident about that?
I'm not sure. We have Ngige there. Ngige is more of grassroots politician than him in Anambra State. Go and check. So I'm not sure he's going to win us in Anambra State. Don't worry about the primary or the election that took place where we have Andy Uba losing to Soludo. Andy Uba is not a strong grassroots candidate in Anambra State. Supposing it's Ngige, he will have won the ticket. So Anambra is still strong APC. If you look at the total number of votes we garnered, we are very strong. So I don't think Labour Party is going to do anything in there. I don't think Anambrarians want to label. I think they want to grow.
Okay, now speaking on this, do you think the All Progressive Congress will retain power come 2023? Because at this point, a lot of Nigerians feel that this administration hasn't done well enough, starting from the security challenge down to the economic crisis, the rising of dollar, and everything just seems to be so unstable. Nigerians are not comfortable with that. Do you have this confidence that APC will retain power come 2023 regarding all this?
I think regarding all the challenges, APC is going to retain power. And why do I say so? Because APC has fulfilled most of its promises. Okay. Like when you think about the security challenges, when APC government was voted into power in 2015, what was the nature of Nigeria's security challenges? It was the Boko Haram. It was the Northeast. And the president said, I am going to root them, destroy them, defeat them, and clean the Northeast of terrorists. Today, as I'm talking to you, we have 70,000 Boko Haram members that have surrendered, both them and their families. 3,000 of them are active fighters within the terrorist network. They are there in Borno now, today. In fact, I got these statistics not more than a week ago. Again, just that same week or a week ago, we have 10 Chibok girls that came out. The media is not shouting about it. Again, when you go to Northeast now, farming has been restored, economic activities has been restored. Babagana Zulum, the governor that was there, is busy building massive infrastructure that is all over the country. Everyone is aware. That was the area that Boko Haram are controlling 14 local government before we came to power. It means that the government has delivered on the security problem. But then there's another security issue that came up, which come with very different dynamics. Foreign mercenaries that are coming from Mali, Libya, some part of Mauritania, and all those areas of the country coming into our land, guising themselves as herdsmen, the same way they did to Mali, the same way they did in Burkina Faso, the same way they are doing currently in Cote d'Ivoire and Guinea-Bissau and Guinea-Conakry. They came into our country. They wanted to cause fever, destroy our land, plunder our resources, and then the media in Nigeria carry it as a Fulani agenda. And with that, there is this religious thing that is being pushed to divide us so that they can continue to plunder the resources while we kill each other. So that's the case. And the president said, I cannot sit idle by and be danced by the sensation of critics. I will fight them. And he continued to fight them. As at today, we know that there are series of kidnapping that is taking place. We know that there are also still some security issues in the northwest zone. But are they able to hold a single local government? No. Is there any territory today that they have instituted a law, a governance system, compared to the way they did it in Borno? Imagine if it was PDP. They took over 24 local government. They come to Northwest with this current dynamics, with the same foreign infiltration that we are getting. Maybe by now the entire Northwest will be another country for the terrorists. But President Buhari saw no. He pushed them out. And they are out. this is a clean success. But of course, any administration that is coming towards the receding, people usually get tired of that administration and they begin to find excuses to blame them. That's the situation Buhari is facing. But he is one of the most exceptional leaders that have delivered. You talked about the economy and the problem of the economy, dollar going high. These are all global problems. There is no country today that is not suffering from global problems. Like the debt crisis we're talking about. You see in the media, they say Nigeria is heavily indebted, this one, that one. When you look at the debt to GDP ratio, in Nigeria, our debt to GDP ratio is 23.27%. Very low. Do you know what is the debt to GDP ratio in Ghana? 84%. In South Africa, is 80%. In Egypt, is 86%. In the United States of America, the country where we want to copy from, is 131%. In China, is 70%. In Japan, is 150%. No, Nigeria, 23.27%. We're very incredibly well managed. The only problem is that as we grow, the population grows, the demand keeps growing, and people are trying to struggle to go up, into their economic lifestyles. So this is actually what is bringing about these issues that we are seeing. But supposing that we have no economic problem, we have a serious economic problem as it's been advocated, and a security problem as it's been advocated, we wouldn't have this light, and we wouldn't be sitting here now. Maybe there are terrorists around this place bombing, like they are doing in so many other countries. So it means the government has really done incredibly well. And that's what true Nigerians understand, and that's why they are voting for APC again.
Okay, sir. I would just want to ask one question from what you have said so far. You and I know that it hasn't been this bad. Yeah, I will agree with you that this administration has done well, but it hasn't been this bad. Okay, if you think that this administration has done so well, why did the Red Chamber, the Senate building, come up with serving the Mr. President impeachment?
They just want media headlines now. Which impeachment notice are they going to serve? Who are they going to impeach? This same Red Chamber that are talking about impeaching, are they able to even amend the Electoral Act? You know the hula balloon between the Electoral Act between them and the presidency. And the presidency will send this and they will now struggle to. They couldn't even amend the Electoral Act to a certain degree. As even their governor, Wike, was saying about them. And they are now saying that they want to impeach this phenomenal president. Is that not a joke? It's just a phantom dream that they needed a headline and they got it. But President Muhammadu Buhari will only leave seat on the 29th of May 2023 successfully. Because if you look at what this man has done, one thing that people don't understand is that his investment in Nigeria's development has been fundamental. The major problem we had in this country ab initio was because we don't have fundamental investment in the development of the country. Most of the things we do is just shabby, like kind of Okada man arrangement. You carry me, I reach my destination and I pay you money and I go. Not really we invest for the benefit of the future. This AKK gas pipeline that you see is going to Spain, and the West African gas pipeline, the railroad air infrastructure that this government is building, the massive localization programs, especially with the local content and everything that this government is doing, the ease of doing of business that they have enacted, so many laws, the National Infrastructure Development Plan, you need to see it. Fantastic National Development Plan for Nigeria from 2021 to 2025. You need to see these things. You know that this country or this president is a very serious president and he cares only for the future, not just for today. And in 10 years' time, every Nigerian will hang Buhari. Every Nigerian will hang Buhari in the walls of their houses. The same way you see the way they are hanging Gandhi in India. Wait and see.
Okay, because according to the Senate building, they say that it hasn't been this bad, and to the point that it got to the Federal Capital Territory, which is the FCT. So it seems like Mr. President isn't doing anything about it. So are you saying that maybe, starting from the Kuje prison outbreak and all that, how do we define all these problems?
It's actually very unfortunate about the Kuje prison event. But I can tell you some things that happened in our neighbors around that same period. The same period, that's in July, right?
Yes.
Cote d'Ivoire had similar attack 20 kilometers to the presidential palace. The same thing happened in Benin Republic, the same thing happened in Togo, and it happened in Nigeria. There's something that is happening. that is perhaps beyond Nigerian borders. There is a strategic interest that is trying to target the Gulf of Guinea. Some of the people like Sunday Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu that are complaining about some terrorists in the forest. It's true that are trying to target Gulf of Guinea. The only mistake they did was that they called them Fulani terrorists, as opposed to naming them as the terrorists that they are. They are not Fulani terrorists. I'm a Fulani man. I hate terrorism. President Buhari is a Fulani man. He's a defeater of terrorists. So many people in the Fulani circle are the main fighters of the terrorists. But then they now say Fulani terrorists. So that means, what about my children? I will not agree. But I know that, yes, there are these terrorists. There is a grand agenda. All the forests in Nigeria, both the north and the south, are infiltrated by some terrorists that have strategic interests that we all have to collectively defeat by supporting our government to defeat them. So that is the situation that is happening. It's somewhat beyond the scope of what we see physically, but it is our own responsibility to fight it all together, not to blame the government for lack of delivery. Because after all, what has Buhari got to lose if he fights them? What is he winning? What is he gaining? Somebody that has finished his term, what will he gain that terrorists are killing people in his state, in Katsina? What will he gain? What will he gain that in Kaduna, where he lives, terrorists are bombing the place? He will not gain anything. So people should not start blaming us, Buhari's lackadaisical attitude. No. He is doing his best. The security agencies are doing their own very best. We also have to do the psychological and information way to defeat these criminals away from our land so that we can have peace and prosperity.
Okay, sir. Last question before we come to the end of the program. Should the All Progressive Congress return power come 2023, what do you think they should do differently that they haven't done so well in the previous administrations? Starting from the tertiary education, the ASU strike, electricity, security, and all that. What do you think they should focus more on to make sure that Nigeria is revived and rescued?
Yes, you see, if you go back to what you mentioned, ASU strike and other things, when you take security, economy, and ASU strike and all those things, you find out that most of the problems started from the PDP. Even ASU strike was 2009 agreement that led to this problem. Because of what? Lack of continuity. When Yar'Adua signed agreement with them, Jonathan didn't follow through with it. Similarly, when Obasanjo finished his administration from 1999 to 2007, Yar'Adua didn't complete with it, and Jonathan didn't even complete with it. So they decided the program for the government is for you, Mr. President, not for the country. And that's all. That's why my advice for APC is to consolidate on the already roadmap set out by the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Since there are different development plans, Nigeria have national development plan between now to 2030. We have national development plan between now to 2025, which is the medium range. We have also Agenda 63, that is like an African agenda, conformable to the UN standard, this Millennium Development, I think they call it something development goal. This time it's a different thing. So we need to also key into them. That means we need to continue. We should not just come as a new government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that he will just come and say, okay, that is Buhari's government, now I'm creating my own. It's not going to help the country. And I don't believe altogether that Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima will not stop will not stop. They will continue and consolidate with the success of this government. And that's my recommendation. If you follow through these our developmental plans, looking at them, where there are some mistakes, we tweak and rearrange, and then we continue to flow the roadmap, we are going to have a very stable, continuously growing, and peaceful, prosperous society in Nigeria as we continue. So that's my recommendation. Let's continue. Let's consolidate and continue. Let us not discard an engineer that is going to cause us problems. So when people are saying that, Shuaju is saying that President Buhari, I'm going to start from where you stop. People are now condemning him. No, it's actually the best thing that needed to be done. So that's my recommendation.
All right, thank you so much, sir. And I wish you success as you continue in the political race.
Thank you very much, Mercy.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Now, at this point, we come to the end of the program. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course on YouTube at Prime Reporters News. Turn on your notification button to get updates from Prime Reporters News. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.